In 1985, Toto was gunned down in broad daylight in the center of Naples, in what was widely believed to be a hit ordered by the Casalesi clan. His death was a devastating blow to the La Torre family, and it triggered a wave of retaliatory killings. The streets of Campania ran red with blood as the La Torre clan sought vengeance for their fallen leader. The rise of the La Torre clan. The La Torre clan, one of the most notorious criminal organizations in Italy, has a history steeped in blood, power, and fear. Originating in the early 20th century in the small town of Mondragone in the Campania region, the clan quickly expanded its influence, becoming a dominant force in the Italian underworld. Their operations, which include extortion, drug trafficking, and murder, have made them a feared and respected entity both within and outside Italy. Early beginnings. The La Torre family traces its roots to humble beginnings. Initially, they were simple farmers and tradesmen, like many others in their town. However, the harsh economic conditions of post-World War I Italy, coupled with the growing influence of organized crime in the region, pushed many families, including the La Torres, into illegal activities as a means of survival. Giuseppe La Torre, the clan's patriarch, was the first to turn to crime. Born in 1895, Giuseppe was a man of ambition and intelligence. He recognized that the only way to escape the poverty and powerlessness of his circumstances was to embrace the growing tide of criminality that was sweeping through southern Italy. Giuseppe started small, engaging in petty theft and smuggling. However, his ruthlessness and strategic mind quickly set him apart from other criminals. He began to gather a group of loyal followers, men who were willing to do whatever it took to achieve wealth and power. By the 1920s, Giuseppe La Torre had established himself as a significant player in the local underworld. His operations expanded to include extortion, the first pillar of the La Torre clan's criminal empire. Giuseppe and his men would approach local businesses, offering protection in exchange for a monthly fee. Those who refused to pay found themselves victims of arson, theft, or worse. The La Torre clan's reputation for violence ensured that few dared to resist. The expansion into drug trafficking. The post-World War II period brought significant changes to Italy, and the La Torre clan was quick to adapt. The economic boom of the 1950s and 1960s created new opportunities for criminal enterprises, and the clan, now under the leadership of Giuseppe's son, Antonio La Torre, seized them with both hands. Antonio, born in 1920, had grown up in the shadow of his father, learning the ways of the underworld from a young age. He was more educated than his father, having attended school and even university for a brief period. Antonio's education gave him a broader perspective on the world, and he was quick to see the potential in the burgeoning drug trade. While extortion remained a core part of the La Torre clan's operations, Antonio began to diversify the clan's criminal portfolio. In the late 1960s, he established connections with drug cartels in South America, particularly in Colombia. The La Torre clan became a key player in the smuggling of heroin and cocaine into Europe, using their established smuggling routes and connections to distribute the drugs across Italy and beyond. Drug trafficking quickly became the most profitable aspect of the La Torre clan's operations. The immense profits allowed the clan to expand their influence further, bribing politicians, police officers, and judges to turn a blind eye to their activities. By the 1970s, the La Torre clan was no longer just a local crime family. They were an international criminal organization. The bloodshed and murders. With great power came great danger. The La Torre clan's expansion into drug trafficking brought them into conflict with other criminal organizations, both in Italy and abroad. The clan's rise was marked by a series of violent confrontations as they fought to protect their territory and eliminate rivals. The 1980s were a particularly bloody period for the La Torre clan. The clan was involved in a brutal war with the Casalesi clan, another powerful crime family in the Campania region. The conflict began over control of the lucrative drug trade, with both clans vying for dominance. What started as a series of skirmishes quickly escalated into an all-out war, with dozens of murders on both sides. One of the most notorious killings during this period was the assassination of Salvatore Toto La Torre, Antonio's eldest son and the heir apparent to the clan. Toto was a charismatic and ruthless leader, much like his grandfather, and was seen as the future of the La Torre clan. However, his ambition and aggression made him many enemies, both within and outside the clan. In 1985, Toto was gunned down in broad daylight in the center of Naples, in what was widely believed to be a hit ordered by the Casalisi clan. His death was a devastating blow to the La Torre family, and it triggered a wave of retaliatory killings. The streets of Campania ran red with blood as the La Torre clan sought vengeance for their fallen leader. The war with the Casalisi clan eventually ended in a stalemate, with both sides suffering heavy losses. However, the La Torre clan emerged from the conflict more determined than ever to consolidate their power. They shifted their focus back to their core operations, extortion and drug trafficking, while also diversifying into other criminal activities, such as money laundering and human trafficking, the modern era. By the 1990s, the La Torre clan had evolved into a sophisticated criminal enterprise. The clan was now led by Luigi La Torre, Antonio's younger son, who had taken over after his brother Toto's death. Luigi was a different kind of leader, less aggressive and more strategic. He recognized that the days of open warfare and violent confrontations were over. The authorities were cracking down on organized crime like never before, and the old ways of doing business were no longer sustainable. Luigi focused on modernizing the La Torre clan, turning it into a more discreet and efficient operation. He expanded the clan's money laundering activities, investing in legitimate businesses such as real estate, construction, and tourism. These businesses not only provided a cover for the clan's illegal activities, but also generated substantial profits in their own right. Under Luigi's leadership, the La Torre clan also deepened its involvement in the international drug trade. The clan established connections with drug cartels in Mexico and South America, becoming a key player in the global narcotics market. They also diversified their drug portfolio, moving into the production and distribution of synthetic drugs such as methamphetamine and ecstasy. Despite their success, the La Torre clan remained a dangerous and violent organization. Luigi may have been more strategic than his predecessors, but he was no less ruthless. Those who crossed the La Torre clan, whether rivals or disloyal associates, were dealt with swiftly and brutally. The clan's reputation for violence ensured that few dared to challenge them. The fall and legacy of the La Torre clan. The 21st century brought new challenges for the La Torre clan. The Italian government, in collaboration with international law enforcement agencies, launched a series of operations aimed at dismantling the country's organized crime networks. The La Torre clan was a prime target, and they were hit hard by these efforts. In 2008, Luigi La Torre was arrested in a massive police operation that targeted the clan's leadership. Luigi's arrest was a significant blow to the clan, but it was not the end. The La Torre clan, like many other organized crime families, had a deeply entrenched structure that allowed it to survive the loss of its leaders. However, the arrests of Luigi and other key figures weakened the clan significantly. Without strong leadership, the clan struggled to maintain its dominance in the face of increased law enforcement pressure and competition from other criminal organizations. The La Torre clan's influence began to wane, and their operations became less visible. Today, the La Torre clan is a shadow of its former self. While they still exist and engage in criminal activities, their power and influence have been greatly diminished. The once feared clan is now just one of many criminal organizations vying for control in Italy's underworld. Despite their decline, the La Torre clan's legacy endures. Their story is a testament to the dangers of ambition and the corrupting influence of power. The La Torre clan rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Italy, only to be brought down by the very forces they sought to dominate. Their history is a reminder that, in the world of organized crime, power is always fleeting, and those who seek it must be prepared to pay the ultimate price. The La Torre clan's rise and fall are a cautionary tale for anyone who would follow in their footsteps.